Welcome to Go Lurk Yourself, a podcast about streaming and playing video games on the internet. My name is Crunky.
I'm Sunny D.
Welcome, Sunny D, for the second guest host in a week. How have you been?
I've been good. How about you?
Oh, not bad. If you guys know that, you may not know this if you're a newer listener, but the Sunny D is actually my wife. She has the misfortune of being married to me.
Oh, yeah, it's such a misfortune.
But she chose this fate. But Dee, we talked earlier in the week about Dee coming on because she's been playing a game, as you probably saw by the title of the episode, Void Bastards, which is, who made this game, Dee?
It's some of the members of BioShock, the guys that made the original BioShock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The name of them, it's called Blue Mantua, and it was published by Humble Bundle.
Oh, Humble Bundle published it?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's cool. Well, we'll get into that in more detail when we talk about the game in more detail. Okay. That was a smooth transition I just did there. That's why you guys are here to listen to these smooth transitions. But what we normally talk about this time in the episode is what we've been playing lately. And Dee, would you like to go first? Other than Void Bastards, have you been playing anything else?
Yes, I have been. I've been playing Siege, of course. And then...
Would that be Rainbow Six Siege?
Yes, Rainbow Six Siege.
Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege?
Exactly.
So are you still enjoying that game? I know you and I have played a few, and you're playing with like other people. You're cheating on me.
Yes,
you're cheating on me, Dee.
I'm cheating on you. Exactly, it's
called video game cheating, and I believe it's grounds for divorce in most states.
Hope not. But yeah, no, I've really been enjoying that. It's fun to be able to play with friends.
I think you unlocked Echo last night.
Yes, I have to get used to the drone thing and the shot and the what does he do?
I don't know. His Echo explosion, it like concusses him, right? Concussive blast. Or something.
Yes, I didn't get one last night.
So the way, if you guys don't play Rainbow Six, basically it's a Counter-Strike type tactical game where you have to defuse bombs, but all the different operators have different abilities, and that's what makes the game interesting. And Echo is an operator who he gets this little like. It's a drone that flies around, and it's called Yokai, which is, I think, Japanese for ghost. I only know that because Molly played Yokai Watch.
Yeah.
Molly's our daughter. But anyway, it flies around, and you can hit the spacebar, and it goes up, and it sits on the ceiling, and it turns like almost completely invisible when it's stuck on the ceiling. And you can aim it and shoot like a concussive blast that will disorient someone. And it's super annoying when you're on attack to get hit by that and you can't see anything. Everything's blurry.
I know. I'm like, what was that?
Yeah, and then your vision's blurry and the thing's invisible. So like, good luck finding it.
Yeah, exactly. Did you hear about the shield thing that they had to do for the people that they actually had to fix it? Where I guess some of the people that had like the see-through shields, like what's the one operator? Blitz. Mm-hmm. They could actually see the yokai when it wasn't supposed to be seen. So they just put that in that last patch, I guess.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that was the last operator you opened. I literally, right before we recorded this, I just played with Chaos, Cherry Bunny, and Tactical Tom, and we played ranked. And,
wow.
And we won like 4-1. It was crazy. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, Siege is like a ever-present video game in our lives. We're playing it like 4 or 5 nights a week, almost consistently.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's all you gotta say is yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It is. I might have said this on this podcast, or maybe I said it on my stream. I don't remember, but it is one of those games that like I never thought I could get into, and once I did, now I can't stop playing. And I know you're the same.
It is. It's been like the best FPS player I think I've ever played.
Well, it's funny because I think the reason that you even played the other game we're going to talk about and what we've been playing is because you played Rainbow Six. You got comfortable playing a shooter on stream and with people, and that led you to buy what game did you try yesterday or last night?
Metro Exodus.
Metro Exodus, which you've never played any of the Metro games before, right?
I never have, because usually everybody's like, it's kind of like a horror game a little bit. You might not like it.
Yeah. Dee's not exactly a horror game fan, right?
Exactly.
So I was watching you stream it last night, and there were some jump scares and some scary stuff, and I heard you like yelling from the next room in the house. I'm like, she's getting actually scared by this.
I was, because you got some of there's of course mutant like monsters going through, and of course you start out in like a sewer type area underground. So, I've got these huge like dogs coming after me, and I'm like, no, please stay away.
Now, I played Metro 1 and 2. I don't remember. They had like Last Light or something was the second one. And I played through both of those. But I was talking about, maybe it was to Cherry on an old episode when when it first was announced this was coming out. That the first two games, I remember like they were fun, they were enjoyable, but I can't remember anything about them. They were like generic, you know what I mean? They were like, and not in a bad way. They just like there was nothing memorable happened, or my memory is just terrible. Which now that I think about it, could be that too. But this one looks a lot more open world and colorful, and
yes, I'm glad I started with this one then, because the story like kind of grabs you from the beginning.
Okay.
And the voice acting and the cutscenes are really well placed. And what I like about the cutscenes is you don't actually have to do anything special. It just happens. You don't have to like, oh, make sure you jump over at this time or it's not going to happen. Your character automatically does that. And everything, so far, I've played like 3 hours of it. Everything is voice acted. You don't have to, read anything. Everything's voice acted and it's really well done.
Sign me up.
Yeah. I was like, Crunk should have played this.
That's exactly what you said. You came out at the next day. You're like, you totally should have played this instead of me. I'm like, no, it's good. We get outside your comfort zone. Play games you normally don't play. But so, how many hours would you say you have in it so far?
I streamed for 3 hours of it,
so you played 3 hours of it.
I almost didn't stop. I was like, should I keep going? I was like, no, I've been streaming for 3 hours. I need to get up.
Well, if we weren't recording this podcast, you'd probably be streaming it again right now, right?
Yes. Actually, I'm going to stream it a little bit later. So
nice. Well, maybe you have you on a future episode where you can give us a full review of it. That would be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So the other game that I've been playing Siege as well. I also started playing Final Fantasy XIV, and I have some friends. So Dee and I have a long history of playing MMOs together, and we kind of have this rule that we don't play MMOs anymore. And some of my longtime friends that we used to play with are like, come play with me. So yesterday I had a few hours in the morning and I turned it on and I literally raged the whole time I played it because the starting of this game, the first 3 hours of it, maybe even longer than that, is the most boring MMO archetype stereotypical stuff I've ever played. Literally, they drop you in a town and you spend... They show you an intro animation that's really cool and really well done and voice acted, but then everything else after that is text. Talk to an NPC, go see that NPC, and the town I started in is called... It's not called Dalaran, or maybe it is called Dalaran. What was it Darnassus in WoW?
Yeah, it was Darnassus, but wasn't Dalaran the starting for the one race, the alien race?
The Draenei, yeah. I think you're right. So... This is a long way of saying that, like, I get it all jumbled up. I've talked about this at length maybe here before, but I really have a hard time getting into epic fantasy games that are slow paced anymore because it's like it's the same experience almost every time with just the names changed. The art style looks different. Like Final Fantasy XIV looks amazing. The graphics are really well done. It's got a lot of polish on it. The music's amazing. The spell animations are good. The physics in the game world is really well done. And it's very much like a more polished version of WoW to me. And everything about it I like. One of the main reasons I jumped back in was because I watched Chichen, who's been on this podcast before, playing the raids. And the raids look really well done. Like there's a lot of smart gameplay decisions made on like... It shows on the ground like the direction an enemy's going to attack, and like boss fights have you have to dodge this, but you have to make sure you tank this, and it looks really really fun. But the thing about MMOs is you spend 90% of your time getting ready for that 10% of the fun, and that's the problem that I've run into now. Like I literally got to level 10 with Damon and I played last night. We probably played for 3 or 4 hours, and it was just run here, kill that, kill 3 of these, run here, take this note to that person, run here. Interact with an object on the ground, it'll spawn a monster, you kill it, and then run back and turn in the quest. And it's like, I get that, that's what those games are like, but I cannot get into them. I just want to get to the good stuff, get me to the dungeons, get me to the raids, and I want to go do those fun things. Those are the fun parts of MMOs to me. And I will play this. I bought a month's subscription. The jury's still out whether I update it again, because one thing I'm not going to do in any MMO is play it like 24/7 like I used to. I'm still going to, because this podcast is going to force me to play other games because we're going to need to talk about other games.
Yeah, definitely. That's one reason I don't. The one reason I don't play MMOs, well, of course, we got completely addicted to them, but I feel like we actually missed out on games, you know? It's like you look back and you're like, we spent all this time on just one game, and we're like, oh, did you guys ever try this game or this game? I'm like, no.
Nope. I don't think it's a coincidence that Dark Age of Camelot came out in 2002? No, 2001, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2001.
Yeah. And that was the PS2 heyday, if I remember right. When did PS3 come out? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't remember.
PS3 came out in November 2006. So if you go look at the PS2 and was it N64 and the first Xbox, that is a huge blind spot for me in video games because I played N64 and then I switched over to MMOs. And anything after 2001 to maybe the PS3, Xbox Xbox 360 era, I didn't play any games other than a couple of MMOs. I just played some one-off computer games and then MMOs all the time, and that's all we did.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Ridiculous. Yeah. You know how you hear people say, yeah, I've heard this from gamers for decades. Like, I got really addicted to WoW and it almost ruined my marriage. My wife was going to leave me. And because that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to stop you from doing self-destructive things like play video games 25 hours a day. But when both you and your spouse do it, there's nobody to stand back and go, hey, maybe you guys should go outdoors once this week.
It's very true. We got pretty bad.
Well, and to be honest, the thing that kind of snapped us back is when we had a kid. We're like, well, we can either be dedicated WoW players or we can be decent parents. So we chose the latter, thankfully.
Yeah, thankfully we did, and I think that was good.
Yeah. But yeah, it's your standard MMO flair. It's very polished. It's very good. I like a lot about it. I made a tank, and then I was talking to Chichen last night, and he's like, I'm actually putting together a raid group. If you want to join it on my server, and I told him I really like playing healers. He goes, if you want to play a healer, come join us. And I'm like, okay. So I started over, got to level 6 last night before I went to bed with the healer on his server. So that'll be interesting to see if one thing about Chichen is he can put in some hours gaming. So I have a hard time catching up with him. And any game I've ever tried to catch up with him, he's days ahead of me all the time.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah,
it might be fun though, especially if you can do the. I agree with you. The one thing I did have a good time with is the raids and the dungeons because you were all hanging out with people.
Right. Yeah, that was the social aspect. It was great, but I'll tell you, being on Twitch and Discords and people's streams has kind of replaced that for me. That social aspect we used to have with WoW. There's always something going on Discord, so you can just hop in there or on Twitch. Hey, what are you guys playing? Oh, okay. You guys want a multiplayer? Or maybe I don't want to play any games. I just want to hang out and watch Romeo G play Cuphead like I did just before this started. So it could be a lot of fun. You played Sea of Thieves with Amanda this week, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I had so much fun. I played with her and Nancy.
Yeah,
and it was I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to.
That's Nankish HD, Nankis HD. Make sure you follow both her and Real Amanda, who was the guest co-host last week. They're both great streamers, fun to hang out with, nice people. But yeah, you tried Sea of Thieves before, or was that the first time?
That was my first time.
Okay. And you enjoyed it because of the social aspect of it more than, or maybe you liked the game too. I don't know.
Yeah, I liked both because it was a lot different than I thought. It's got more depth to it. But I mean, as Amanda was talking about last episode, they've added a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's got a lot more stuff, but I think it's one of those games where it's definitely worth playing with people, though. I don't know if I would enjoy it as much if I was just by myself.
I would assume you'd get water phobic and bail out by yourself.
I know it took me a little bit to get over the water thing because the water in that game looks amazing. It's like
absolutely, yes. That's the thing that blows me away every time I see someone play it, and and I go, oh, maybe I need to just give it another chance. It looks so pretty.
It is. It's a pretty game, and I love the pirates in it. It's like you get like random looking pirates when you choose. Mine has like one white eye and one colored eye, and she's like a chunker.
she's a hefty gal. I remember seeing that. It was funny. But those are the games I've been playing. And is there anything else you can think of, Dee?
Other than I did play Sea of Thieves. Other than that's it.
I watched Chaos play that Trover Saves the Universe from the guys who made Rick and Morty, and I definitely want to play that this week.
Oh, you should. That looks hilarious.
That game is so funny. Like Chaos was saying that his like face was hurting from laughing and smiling at that game so much, and I agree. It's really good. He actually started feeling sick afterwards, and I told him it was from laughing too much.
Oh, maybe so.
But the game we're all here to talk about this week is a game that Dee has been playing on her streams called Void Bastards, made by, you just told me. Their name is Blue Manchu. Blue Manchu?
Yeah, Blue Manchu. Yep, and some of the guys from BioShock.
Some of the guys from BioShock. Blue Manchu, according to Steam, was inspired by, the game was inspired by BioShock and System Shock 2. Void Bastards is a revolutionary new strategy shooter that will test your wits as well as exercise your aim. Can you lead the misfit prisoners of the Void Ark through the derelict spaceships and myriad dangers of Sargasso Nebula? Did I say that right? Is it Sargasso? Did I say it in the game?
Yes, you said it perfectly.
The first thing I noticed when watching you stream this is it's very much cel-shaded, like comic book inspired. It looks like a comic book come to life, and they usually like the interstitials between the things show between the game and the menus show like comics shaded comic cells, whatever you call those, like the little panels that you read in a comic book.
Oh yeah, it's definitely comic book style. It's a really nice looking game. I enjoyed the style. It kind of reminded me of
Borderlands.
I don't know what's wrong with me. Borderlands. I played the first Borderlands and the second I played the second Borderlands all the way through.
Nice.
But yeah, it kind of reminds me of that art style that's going to last. Like you'll be able to play this several years later and it'll still look nice.
Oh yeah,
I love
like
that kind of style.
The old Wind Waker and the WoW mantra that WoW was very cartoony when it came out compared to other MMOs of its time, but it also aged the best because it doesn't look immediately old. I mean, it's just now, and of course they're updating it, but it was just now in the last couple of years starting to look old, and all they had to do was slightly tweak the polygons, and it looks way better.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And Wind Waker was the same way. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, it's okay. I was just gonna say it's also the voice that there's like this pretty much computer that's talking to you during this time. The voice is Kevin Briding, who does the voice of Stanley Parable.
I noticed. I was like, I know that voice from somewhere. Is that the Stanley Parable guy? He has a slightly different accent in this, doesn't he? Or is it the same?
Maybe just like a little bit, but you can definitely tell it's him. But he is hilarious. He partly makes that game really.
I'll tell you that this game definitely has a personality, and it's less linear story and more roguelike, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
All the ships, you visit all these different ships. You're pretty much a scavenger. All these different aliens the bad aliens, I guess, have taken over these ships, and you're going through scavenging, trying to get through the nebula to get out. And but they're all randomly generated. You could have different enemies, you have to. There's like a little quest to it where there's a certain item on a ship that you can get, and then you can get out if you want. You don't have to go through the whole ship.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I noticed that there's a real personality to it too, because I was watching you stream it. Was it Wednesday maybe, whenever you started, and this little character was like screaming at you. He's like, "Hey, buttface!"
He's like, "Surprise, buttface!"
Surprise, buttface! And I heard you go, "Did he just call me a buttface? Did I hear that right?" And I went back and clipped it. It's exactly what happened. It's so funny.
Where's that coming from?
Surprise!
Did you hear that? He just said surprise buttface. It's hilarious. Actually, that certain enemy will call you other not very nice things, and I won't say that.
We'll say it. Oh yeah, please don't cuss on my podcast, T.
Well, They're kind of, I don't know, they're kind of bad.
Okay, all right. Maybe I'll go. I'll drop a couple of drops in here of them.
Yes, you should. Oh my god.
You're right, dickbag. Oi, twat face. I can see your dickwad. Spunky little fuck face. Because they were all like, oh no. And then he shot himself.
But the enemies aren't like real tough or anything. They're funny. They cut like there's like there's an enemy called Taurus, and there's these big blob things, and they're wearing hats, and they go around saying, "Can you help me find my way out?" And then all of a sudden they explode.
Wow, that's weird.
I know, it's weird. And then you got like the janitors, and they're just talking to themselves, and then they see you and they're like, "What are you doing?" And then they just like pop into these mean monsters that like throw things at you, but they're not like they're not complicated. They just come at you.
Okay, so it's more of a, what was that old like Doom? There was a game that came out maybe 10 years ago that was you were a vampire slayer and you'd shoot like a stake gun. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Oh, that sounds familiar.
It was like decidedly old school, where just it would send, like the original Doom, it would just send waves of monsters at you, and the fun was just mowing them down. I'm drawing a blank on it, but it's basically like that, like a decidedly retro game where it's not complicated. There's not a bunch of complex UI. I think one of the ones I saw you play, or levels I saw you play, was you had to lead a guy into an airlock and then shut it and just launch him out into space.
Yes, that scared the heck out of me.
I know. I was like, you're like looking for how to go forward. I'm like, Dia, there's an airlock there. Just lead him in there and then shut it. And you're like, what? No way. And then you got real scared and ran around the corner and panicked and died. It was awesome.
Well, yeah, and what's interesting about this game is that you only get so much ammo,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get different abilities to build different different weapons to build to help go along with your gun, because the bullets, they're kind of scarce.
Oh, okay.
So like I made a thing called a bushwhacker. And it's like an area effect thing. So you put it down and it starts damaging as the enemies as they go through, and then you can shoot it and then it'll do a big explosion. So you kind of have to find different ways to kill them, because you can run out.
You have to go full Die Hard and improvise on the way through.
Exactly.
That's awesome, though. I mean, that makes it less of a twitch shooter, more of a strategy game than when you have to like be creative with your kills.
Exactly. There's a lot of strategy to it, because also through the ships, there's generators that you can turn off the power. So you turn off, there's a certain kind of turret that's on the ships. When you turn off the power, you turn those off so you don't have to worry about them.
Oh, okay.
Or if you get to the front of the ship, you can use your credits and turn on the map. The map will all of a sudden show you where all the spots are, where all the loot is that you need to get, all the collectibles, and then also where all the enemies are. So you can kind of plan your route around that.
Oh, okay. So it looks like this is only on. Is it on any other console, or is it just on PC?
I apologize. I do not know if I think it's on that.
It's on Xbox. Yeah, it is. I just looked it up on Humble, voidbastards.com. You can buy it directly through Humble. You can buy it on Steam, or you can buy it on Xbox.
Yes.
That's cool. Was this on the Xbox Game Pass, or did you buy it outright?
No, I bought it for the Xbox Game Pass right now, guys. If the PC version, it's considered still in beta, so they're doing it for $1.
Yeah.
This month. So if you are for a month, so if you guys get a chance, I've played, Sea of Thieves, I played Metro Exodus and this game now, and they've got a really nice library.
Yeah, it's $30 on Steam, or if you get the Xbox Game Pass, it renews for $5 a month after the first month. But even if you paid, even if you let this go for 5-6 months, you're only paying $30, which is the cost of the game, and you have access to all those other games. So it's this is not a paid endorsement or advertisement at all, but it's just like, it's one of those deals that seems too good to be true. It's like the Netflix of video games almost.
Exactly.
It's like all the entertainment you can get, and it's cost you next to nothing. I'm sure once it gets rolling, they'll probably add tiers to it and limits. But right now, man, you can't sign up fast enough. I couldn't sign up fast enough.
I know, and I haven't had any trouble with the Xbox well, it's a little tedious when you first have to set it up.
Oh yeah, getting signed up for it. While we're talking about that, Final Fantasy XIV has a login system that's ridiculous. Like it has a phone app. You have to have a Square Enix account, and you have to have a Square Enix one-time password. And a lot of it's just their verbiage. And then like there's a delay. If like I had made a Square Enix account in 2014, but I didn't remember it. So to recover your password and change it, and then like 10 minutes later, the login server recognizes it. So there for a while it says, no, your password's wrong. I'm like, no, I just changed it. And then, but it doesn't accept it, the new password for like 10 minutes. But it doesn't tell you that either. So it was really confusing. I had to Google it and find out. But sorry, I derailed you there, dude.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Old man complains about video games, more to living.
Yeah, I heard you yelling about it last night. Like, this is ridiculous.
That's a very nice way of putting what I probably said. This is bullshit.
But that's funny. I was going to say one other thing about the Void Bastards. Only time you guys will hear me cuss. No, I'm just kidding. If you die, you start out. Your characters are actually all these prisoners.
Oh wow!
And they all have their own like unique abilities. Like, it was really neat. One I went through, this is part of the roguelike thing too. One of them was colorblind. So I'm going through the ship and everything's black and white. I'm like, why is everything black and white? I'm like, did the ship change? But then I looked at my prisoner and he's colorblind.
Oh, okay. So you play through their eyes, so to speak.
Yes, because it's definitely a first-person shooter. You're playing through their eyes.
Nice.
And it was really neat because instead of, like, all the loot is colored in green, like you see these green lights.
Yeah.
I saw sparklies with him.
Okay.
Like, it was, like, kind of like shine a little bit. And then one character I had, if he got shot, you get more of the credits of the money that you get in the game.
Uh-huh.
And then one of them, the guy was like real low on health. He'd have like 70 health instead of 200. So he didn't last long.
That's the roguelike aspect of it. So like it's almost infinitely replayable then.
Yes. The campaign, there is a campaign. There is an ending to this game. It's about 12 to 15 hours.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. I thought that was great.
You know, the art style and the animation and the characters, it reminds me a bit of Venture Brothers. But in space.
Yes. In space, exactly.
And Venture Brothers did go to space a few times, but like just that like comic timing and that animation all together, it's not exactly, they're not ripping it off, but it makes me feel good like that show used to.
I know. I like that show.
Yeah, it was great. So would you recommend Void Bastards, D?
Yes, I would recommend it if you do like a roguelike.
Yeah.
As I said, but it is a strategy roguelike, so you can figure out on your star map where, which ships you want to go. It'll tell you which enemies are on that ship, what your goal is, so you can change it up how you want it. Usually, like if you want to get to a different ship, you have to spend a food and a fuel. So you have to look at what you have to be able to move. So if you guys like something like that, if you want something funny because it just made me laugh, I think it's a great game for that.
Well, you've talked me into it. I'm going to try it.
Okay, nice.
I'm going to play that and every other game. One of the things about doing this podcast that's always been crazy is like, and Amanda had this last week. Like I talked at length about my love for that game, Outer Wilds. She had to go get it. Like the next day, she's like, I have to go buy this now. I want to play it. And that's the thing is, people come on and they're passionate about a game or there's something they're looking forward to, and it's infectious. And I think that's why Twitch is such a good advertising platform for games now, game publishers nowadays. They go to the big streamers and it's worth giving them, hey, we'll give you $1,000 an hour to play this game with some big streamer like, I don't know, Shroud or somebody, to try it for a couple of nights. And they sell so many copies because it's just exposure to the game. People see their favorite streamer playing a video game and loving it. And it's one of the things that, like we talked earlier about MMOs, that makes me wish I was playing MMOs again. Because, yeah, it's $15 a month, but it's not $60 a week because I'm buying a new game every week.
That's very true.
But the nice thing is, like, the pricing model of Steam games and even console games, and there's a lot more options. Like this Void Bastard's only $30. Gaming has found an equilibrium between big budget AAA titles and games that are just fun. Void Bastards is a smaller game. It's independently developed. But it's good gameplay. It's funny. It's cool art. It's got its own character where you can play a big game like Call of Duty, and while it's cool that it looks really nice and it's polished, it's kind of soulless because they have to be real careful not to offend people. One of the things that made Modern Warfare 4 so crazy was the no Russian level, because it was so taboo and like controversial. It ended up doing really well for them because it made them sell a bunch. The news was talking about it, but they've kind of been playing it safe since then, in my opinion, with Call of Duty, because why mess with the cash cow, right?
Yeah, exactly. Which kind of makes it boring in a way.
Right, exactly. You're like, oh, this is cool and vanilla, but okay. But yeah, I would recommend checking it out as well. From what I've seen, I've not played it, but it absolutely is a great game. I mean, it's not going to make my game of the year because we already said Outer Wilds was that.
Yeah.
Also, a big shout out to our friend Voxicore. She has been streaming a game called is it Castles and Villages? Is that what it's called, D?
Castles and Kingdoms.
Castles and Kingdoms. Yeah, it looks like the blocky mobile. The blocky cartoony art style that was really big on mobile for a while.
Yeah.
It looks like that, but it's actually a legit strategy game. Castle and Kingdom strategy game where you have to harvest resources and build stuff and assign people to do jobs. But it's got a new twist. At least there's the Steam integrated version. Is if you're a streamer, and I know we have a lot of streamers that listen to this. If you play that game, you can actually turn on Twitch integration rather easily, and your viewers every few minutes can vote on whether to give you like a good buff or like send Vikings to harass your town. But it's not so crazy that your viewers are just going to blow everything up because they're trolls. Like it adds a reasonable, to me, what I've seen, it adds a reasonable mix. Mostly positive, but some bad ones, and you don't normally get too many bad ones in a row. So a big shout out to Voxicore. You can find her on Twitch and that game as well. It looks really good.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know about. I love Twitch integration. Like I played Slay the Spire this week, and it's got the Twitch integration where people can help you pick out which cards you get. And I love stuff like that. I'm gonna have to look at that game then.
Yeah, you definitely should watch Vox. I think Vox said she's gonna stream it tonight. You should totally watch her stream that because it is awesome. Like that Twitch integration just adds a layer of fun and interactivity with your viewers that you don't get otherwise unless you're like a super interactive streamer.
Yeah, Dead Cells has that too. It's awesome.
Absolutely, it can be intimidating if you're the streamer because you're like, oh, I'm gonna be bad and people are gonna troll me. But you know what? If you just have fun with it, who cares? Let them troll you.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Dee, where can people find you on the social medias?
I am on Twitter at TheSunnyD, and then on Twitch I am twitch.tv /TheSunnyD. And
you guys know where you can find me at Crunky on Twitter and twitch.tv/Crunky, and that's Crunky with 2 N's, KRUNNKY. And until then, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.